Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So another day, another sports book has updated win totals both for the NFL and for college football. This time it's Circa Sports. I want to start with the NFL just with a couple of takeaways. No change there for New Orleans. They still got the Saints at 7.5, over under 7.5. And look, the odds makers aren't always right. Sure, they miss. You always have teams that will go over expectations and under expectations, but by and large, they're playing in the ballpark, right? And when you're looking at 7.5 for New Orleans, that's a full 2 games behind their projection for Atlanta, which is at 9.5. Tampa's at 8. Now, Carolina might well be the worst team in the league again this year, depending on what happens to their quarterback play, but they're at 5.5. So you've got, for the division, again, Atlanta 9.5, Tampa 8, Saints 7.5, Panthers 5.5. And I don't want to just sit here and harp on this all off season again, but I have a feeling this is probably going to be our approach. Whereas, what I'm curious to see is the general fan reaction to this, because last year I spent the entire offseason, every time we saw something like this, which was some list, either objective or subjective, if it was Vegas odds, if it was tier rankings, if it were playoff projections from different media, prognosticators, scouts, whatever it was, everything kept pointing to the same thing, which was that Derek Carr is not a great quarterback and the Saints aren't going to be a playoff team. And as we saw, Derek Carr wasn't a good quarterback and the Saints weren't a playoff team. But all last offseason, I kind of got dumped on for continuing to talk about that, but it was more just putting it out there to say, hey, we're all really excited. We think the Saints have a best quarterback in a bad division, a good shot to win a bad division. But look at all of these people over here who are not biased Saints people like all of us are, and they're all trying to tell us the same thing, and it played out that way. Well, they're telling you again that the Saints are a projected 7.5. They'd be under 500. If you're going to be 7-10 or 8-9, whatever it's going to be, they're projecting the Saints under 500. I'm curious, and that, by the way, that's going to be a pretty consistent theme all offseason. I mean, I think we all know that. Just prepare yourself for it. Ain't nobody going to be picking the Saints to win the division. Everybody's going to be picking Atlanta to win the division, just like a lot of people were picking the Saints in Tampa last year because you had Derek Carr. And the thought was, could you be the best team in a bad division and get into the playoffs even at 9-8? Well, they went 9-8, missed playoffs. But I'm going to be curious to see what the reaction is to that this offseason, because it feels like, and I may be wrong, but I feel like I have a good finger on the pulse. It feels like most Saints fans have the pendulum of emotion has started to swing to whereas going into last year, people wanted to give Dennis Allen the benefit of the doubt, wanted to hope Derek Carr was going to be great, wanted to hope they were going to make the playoffs. It feels now like the pendulum has swung, where people can look at the sample size of Dennis Allen just coming off his first ever winning season as a head coach, the way that against the schedule, how lucky you got against the quarterbacks you faced, facing Joshua Dobbs after they plucked him off the street and you lost. You faced Tommy Cutlets with the Giants. I mean, who is the guy again for the Bears? Muse that I can't remember. Tyson Bagent. Tyler Tyson Bagent. One of those. Some combination of with all of the good fortune you had, you still missed the playoffs. I think people this year that pendulum is going to swing, and fans aren't going to be nearly as patient or as optimistic with this team. We'll see how it may go. But anyway, Circa has the Saints at 7.5. For what it's worth, the teams that are projected to win double digits this year, Niners at 11.5, Chiefs at 11.5. Bengals, Bills, Cowboys, Eagles, all at 10.5. Oh, throw the Lions in there at 10.5 as well. So projected to win double digits. Niners, Chiefs at 11.5. Bengals, Bills, Cowboys, Eagles, Lions, all at 10.5. Anything stand out there, Muse, as we look at this? Anything just jump off the page?
You said this is the NFL one we're talking about right now?
Yeah.
The NFL. I liked hold on, let me pull that one up. Sorry, I had the college one still pulled up. I like seeing the Bengals back at 10.5. Obviously, that's a big investment in Joey B coming back, so that's encouraging. But I did obviously go look at the Bears and Commanders with Jaden Daniels, and then obviously the New England Patriots as well. Seeing the Bears at 8.5 kind of surprised me. I thought that'd be lower. I mean, I know
lower. Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yes,
I know Caleb Williams looks like he's NFL ready and ready to go, and the Bears looked like they made a lot of great offseason moves, but even when they kept adding guys, their Super Bowl odds never changed. So it's like, did they really actually get better? So I thought that'd be actually maybe more akin to like where the Commanders are with Jaden Daniels at 6.5.
I'm along the same lines as you, but the Vikings at 7.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean,
I know you lose Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
You draft J.J. McCarthy, but remember, that roster was ready-made to win. I mean, that was a 13-win team 2 years ago. Cousins gets injured. You're plucking Joshua Dobbs off the street. But, like, you do lose Daniil Hunter, who's now in Houston. But, like, that roster, we sort of roundly agreed, was just they lost their starting quarterback and they went to sub-500. J.J. McCarthy, I'm assuming, is going to be starting. I don't know that you bank on a rookie a ton, but this is clearly Vegas telling you we ain't banking on that rookie to do much in Minnesota, even with that roster, which was interesting to me because it felt like a lot of the people in the know were higher on McCarthy maybe than fans were who watched him not do much at Michigan.
That's fair for sure. And to your point, I mean, everybody was picking the Vikings to win that division last year with Cousins in that roster, and of course the Lions kind of came out of nowhere. And I mean, I guess that's another interesting one too. The Lions at 10.5.
That doesn't surprise me though. I mean, they were in the NFC Championship game. I mean,
I get it.
They should be back there again. Like, it's time for them to take that next step. I think, and what they did in the draft as well, I think they should. Yeah. They should be. So that doesn't surprise me. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.